Many people, when wanting to overcome their driving fear, consider taking driving lessons. They believe that with just more practice, their anxiety will disappear. But do driving lessons truly lead to lasting confidence behind the wheel? How effective are they really? We discuss this in today's video. So, if you don't know me yet, I'm Martin. As a coach and mentor, I used my own tools and techniques to conquer my driving fear, now dedicated to helping others like you to do the same. So let's dive in. The very first question I have here for you is, how long and how often have you thought about taking driving lessons but haven't yet taken the step? You could keep telling yourself, one day I'll do it. Or you could recognize that a part of you is holding you back. And that is totally understandable. I mean, more driving equals more fear, right? So until you acknowledge this part of yourself and address what it needs to let you book driving lessons, that day might never come. But okay, as this video is about taking driving lessons, let's imagine you finally booked 5 to 10 driving lessons with an instructor, costing between $500 and $2,000. Naturally, you will feel more confident with an instructor by your side. He or she is someone who can handle potential dangers, and that of course helps to reduce your fear of making a mistake and causing an accident. However, what happens when you're back in your car alone or with your child instead of the instructor? The scenario changes, right? You might realize the confidence you felt was not truly your own, but borrowed from your instructor's presence. So, how can external sources give you true inner confidence? In my view, it can't be done by having someone manage the car and the rest. True empowerment comes from building self-belief and trust in your abilities. Yes, skill and familiarity are essential, but without addressing the underlying lack of confidence, lessons alone may not be the best starting point here. So, where to start then instead? Being able to manage driving emotionally and manage the fear emotionally seems to be essential. You'll learn to drive more effectively if you can reduce your fear or at least better manage it. And yes, confidence usually grows with practice, but how much has your confidence actually increased from driving? Taking driving lessons with low confidence due to overwhelming emotions is akin to pouring more water into a pot that's leaking without first patching the leak. So that means the root cause of fear needs to be gently addressed beforehand. But what is the root cause of driving fear? To simplify, fear often stems from certain experiences, likely strong and negative, that create a belief in our mind, and we call that fear learning. For instance, witnessing an accident as a child could lead your brain to categorize driving as dangerous. Or perhaps having children might make you worry too much about your family's safety. This could also have caused the belief that driving is too dangerous or that you are not strong enough to handle that. Thus, starting driving lessons with these negative beliefs may not be as effective as beginning from a more positive or at least neutral perspective on driving. Actually, your beliefs are working against you. So now, completing the cycle here, we continuously reinforce our beliefs by experiencing fear daily, convincing ourselves we are not good drivers. This belief has now become part of our identity. We see ourselves as people who fear driving. So, returning to the idea of driving lessons. If driving fear has become part of your identity with statements like, I am a bad driver, I am an anxious overthinker, then altering this self-image through driving lessons can be challenging. It's not impossible, but it's more likely that you will subconsciously seek to confirm your self-image as someone who can't drive. This happens because your brain seeks safety, and when anxious, seeking safety becomes a priority. So, returning to our initial question, are driving lessons the key to conquer driving fear? Let's look at what we've discovered from a different angle. And let me explain this with an eye-opening model as reference, which I find very helpful here. So let's assume everything starts with taking action, right? Any change starts with taking action. So we have action over here. And if you take action, it usually causes emotions, right? So, for example, if you say you want to take more time with your kids, then you feel a certain way, right? You feel probably more proud and fulfilled. So, action causes emotions. And yes, usually every change starts with taking action, and that alters our emotions. But if you can't take the action, if you can't go in the car, and if you don't book driving lessons, if you don't practice in your car, taking action here is not a good starting point, right? Or even you tried to practice in the car or with driving lessons, but your emotions doesn't change. The fear is still there. So that is not the appropriate way here. Agree? Okay, so what else can we do? Our emotions influences our beliefs, right? You experienced this. Probably you had a strong emotion when witnessing an accident or with your children in a car. So that helps our brain to create beliefs. Let's go back to the example here of taking more time with your children. So you feel more proud, more fulfilled, and that will create the belief that you are a good mom, and of course the belief that it's good to take much time with the children and play with them and so on. So having emotions over and over creates beliefs. And then our beliefs here form our identity. That's the deepest level, right? So you became the mom you want to be by taking more time with your kids. So the action all the way down goes back to your identity. And that is, as I said, how change usually happens, right? You take the action, you feel a certain way, you feel better, you feel proud, you believe that's the right way to do it, and that became part of your identity. And back to driving fear, right? If the way up to taking action is not going to work, we have to go this way down. Or to be more precise here, to start at the bottom, at your inner core. And that is starting to change how you see yourself, right? We already discovered that you probably see yourself as someone who can't drive or someone who's not a good driver and who's not able to conquer it. So that we have to change in the first place, right? So it's not easy, I know, but let's assume you start seeing yourself as someone who can conquer driving fear, who's able to do that, and someone who say, at least I can be a good driver, okay? Let's assume only that. I can be a good driver. And that altered self-image will start changing your beliefs a little bit, okay? Maybe you start believing driving can be dangerous, but driving can be also freedom, right? And let's imagine you take driving lessons or you start practicing from this point of view, right? You believe you are able to do that, you can do it, it's freedom, it's good, it's something good for your family to drive, and you start taking actions step by step, right? Baby steps, but you practice. And that will change your emotion accordingly, right? Because now you are able to take the right action, and that will change your emotion. Maybe you feel, okay, I did it, right? I can conquer it. I make progress. I feel good. You feel more positive. That will change your beliefs. Okay, driving is something I can do. Driving is not dangerous inherently. Driving can be fun. Driving can be freedom. Driving makes things possible that haven't been possible before. And that will also influence your self-image again, right? And you start seeing yourself more as a person who's able to drive and who is a confident driver. So, bring it all together here. Driving lessons and practicing are beneficial. They will help to improve skills and familiarity with the road. However, just like pouring water into a pot that's leaking won't fill it, gaining skills without addressing the foundational confidence won't last long. Fixing that leak is essential first and foremost. So, if you're interested in learning more about how this works and what's necessary before and during driving practice, if you want to learn to address the driving fear at its roots in order to conquer it, I invite you to explore Drive with Confidence. This is a comprehensive step-by-step guide I designed for gently overcoming driving fear. In that 30-day video course, you'll learn how to address the root cause of driving fear, identify and change your limiting beliefs, alter your body responses and nervous system, both of which play a significant role when experiencing fear. You will also learn how to practice driving in a way that doesn't reinforce old beliefs but create new and positive ones. And all that for less than the cost of 1 or maybe 2 driving lessons. You might feel weak or believe there's something wrong with you because of your fear of driving. But taking steps to address the fear and moving towards confident driving is anything but weak. It's actually a sign of incredible strength. Alright, I hope I gave you some motivation here. That's all for now. If you're interested in learning more about how to overcome driving fear, simply click the link below this video or head over to my website. Thank you for watching.